So there are now clear differences between the parties. The Conservatives say only a growing economy can raise living standards. Labour say no, government has to act too to keep prices down. And while inside the conference centre they're praising Margaret Thatcher, out here on the streets of Manchester they're shouting Tory scum. It's quite nostalgic. The police estimated 50,000 people took to the streets in a union-backed rally to protest against government spending cuts, particularly to the NHS. And as for their calls for higher taxes on the rich, well, David Cameron ruled out any mansion tax while he's Prime Minister.
Good evening. Greater Manchester Police say 50,000 protesters have taken part in a march on the first day of the Conservative Party conference. Our political editor, Arif Ansari, was there earlier.
About 12,000 people have applied to be here, but that also means that it's a magnet for opponents. And today there were far more people marching outside than were actually attending inside. It was a TUC march in favour and support of the NHS and against what they consider to be privatisation. Elaine Dunkley reports.
This was one of the biggest marches in Manchester in modern times. 50,000 people with one message for the government.
It's worth defending the NHS. 65 years it's been in existence and we need to keep it as it is now and stop the unbundling of the NHS.
The Tories aren't listening. People don't want the NHS privatised and they're doing it anyway, and they're going to contract it out to private companies.
Over a mile, its way around the city to the conference centre to deliver the news that Conservative policies towards the NHS were not welcome. But delegates were resolute in not letting this spoil the party conference.
What do you think of all the protesting going on about Conservative policies today?
It's just the usual people. Got nothing else better to do. I mean, at the end of the day, these tough decisions have to be made.
We have a record number of low hospital-acquired infection. We have more doctors and healthcare professionals working in the NHS than ever. We want to see it protected, remain in public ownership and be there, really an excellent service, free at the point of use for everyone who wants to use it.
The protesters were here to be heard. Meanwhile, the Conservatives insist that the NHS is in a healthier state under its leadership. Elaine Dunkley, BBC North West Tonight.
Well, that march went straight past here, but they've got pretty high fences here at the conference. What Conservative politicians are more concerned about are things like cost of living and unemployment. And earlier today, I had an exclusive interview with the Chancellor, George Osborne, on the Sunday Politics. And I put it to him that since becoming Chancellor, unemployment in the North West has actually crept